This movie opens with a scientist in his lab injecting a mysterious green fluid into an egg yolk. To his amazement, another yolk emerges, setting off a chain of strange and thrilling events. Meet Elizabeth, a stunning model and dancer who's been a star at a top TV show for years. During a rehearsal break, she heads to the restroom for a breather. While she's in there, her boss walks in a deep conversation with an agent, him mocking her age and planning to replace her with a younger model. Crushed, Elizabeth stares at her reflection, feeling the sting of his words. Later, Elizabeth confronts her boss over lunch. He awkwardly explains, claiming the fans want someone younger and more attractive. Elizabeth, in disbelief, interrupts him, demanding clarity. Flustered, unable to provide a decent explanation, her boss leaves with a friend. Distraught, Elizabeth drives home, replaying her boss's hurtful words in her mind. Suddenly, a truck crashes into her car. At the hospital, doctors assure her she's fine, but as she leaves, a lab worker hands her suit and a mysterious drive labeled the substance. Curious, Elizabeth checks out the drive's contents at home. It promises a rejuvenation, offering her a chance to become a much younger version of herself. She throws it away, but after a moment's hesitation, she calls the contact number on the drive, intrigued by the possibility. The next morning, Elizabeth receives a package with an access card and instructions. She finds a locker containing the miraculous drug and hurriedly takes it home. In her bathroom, she injects the substance, transforming into a younger version of herself. She is thrilled by her youthful appearance. Embracing her new identity, she explores the city, buys a stunning dress, and auditions for a new role. She introduces herself as Sue and impresses everyone, including her former boss, who hired on the spot. Sue sets her conditions, which are readily accepted, and she dives into her new career with zeal. After a week, it's time for Elizabeth to revert to her older self to maintain the balance. It went smoothly. Elizabeth, feeling pains, weakness, and hunger, made some food for herself and switched back. But Sue, driven by greed, decides to extend her youthful days, putting Elizabeth's body in jeopardy. During an intimate moment with a guy, she begins to bleed and realizes the gravity of her actions. Panicked, she rushes back to Elizabeth's hidden body, but instead of switching back, she decides to extract more fluids, costing Elizabeth her finger. Elizabeth, now desperate, contacts the number, only to find out there's no way to fix the mess she created. She goes to pick up her package and hears terrifying sounds and decides to run, stumbling upon a restaurant where she tries to compose herself. An old man across the table recognizes her predicament and warns her about the dangers of her choices. Elizabeth's situation worsens when she bumps into the guy Sue was with, leading to a rude confrontation. Feeling hopeless, she reaches out to an old friend and arranges to meet. But as she prepares, she encounters Sue, who flaunts her youth, making Elizabeth feel even more insecure. Sue continues her glamorous life, ignoring the warnings, extracting more fluids which led dire consequences. Elizabeth's body starts to deteriorate, causing her immense pain and causing her left side to dry up. Desperate, she tries to contact the provider for a solution, but learns it's impossible to reverse the damage. Sue attends a show, but things go awry when something pops out of her butt. She rushes to the restroom, check what was wrong, only to pull out a chicken's leg from her abdomen, races home and found Elizabeth awake and struggling. She had eaten lots of chicken while she was meant to be unconscious. Sue hit Elizabeth, making Elizabeth unconscious. Sue hurried back to the show, but it was too late and everyone had left. Her boss demands to see her. Sue, seeing her career might be threatened, she hurried to her boss's offices, but to her amazement, he offered her a role to host the New Year Eve show and that her fans would love to see her perform. While Sue was having a nice time, Elizabeth's body worsened. It got to a point Sue could no more extract her stabilizers. She reached out to her supplier, but she was told nothing could be done, so she passed out. Elizabeth wakes up looking old, with her hair falling off. She hurriedly called and placed an order to terminate Sue, which she picked up and went to terminate Sue, which she did. However, Elizabeth regrets her actions and tries to bring Sue back to life, which she eventually did. But to her surprise, this happened. Sue attacks Elizabeth and smashed her head on a mirror, thinking she had gotten rid of Elizabeth. Sue went to the dressing room, where she suddenly starts feeling uncomfortable as blood came out from her and her tooth falling off. She rushed home, injected the green-like substance again, but this time something different happened. Elizabeth watches in horror as Sue's body deteriorates further, causing chaos. Sue refuses to admit defeat and continues to defy the natural order, turning into a monstrous version of herself, desperate to maintain her appearance. Meanwhile, the audience eagerly awaiting Sue's performance. But instead of the glamorous star, they are faced with a monstrous figure. The crowd panics as Sue's head is cut off, only to regenerate, turning the event into a gruesome spectacle. Blood spills everywhere, and the once glamorous Sue is revealed as a terrifying monster, leaving the stage and the audience in shambles. For more scares, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss our terrifying tales. Thanks for watching.